According to the World Bank's most recent Global Economic Prospects report, the global economy is entering a marked slowdown after a strong recovery in 2021 due to new threats from COVID-19 variants, as well as an increase in inflation, debt, and income inequality that could jeopardize the recovery in emerging and developing economies. As pent-up demand fades and global fiscal and monetary assistance is removed, it is predicted that global GDP would significantly slow from 5.5% in 2021 to 4.1% in 2022 and 3.2% in 2023. The pandemic is likely to continue to impede the economic activity in the short term based on the Omicron variant's rapid spread. The external demand in emerging and developing economies would also be affected by a considerable slowdown in large economies such as the US and China. New COVID-19 outbreaks, ongoing supply chain constraints, inflationary pressures, and higher financial vulnerabilities in wide swaths of the world might enhance the danger of a hard landing at a time when governments in many emerging countries lack the policy space to support activity if needed. The slowdown will occur when the gap between the growth rates of developed economies and emerging and developing economies widens. Advanced economies' growth is anticipated to slow from 5% in 2021 to 3.8% in 2022 and 2.3% in 2023, a pace that, while reducing, will be enough to return output and investment to these economies' pre-pandemic pattern. However, it is anticipated that growth in emerging and developing economies will slow from 6.3% in 2021 to 4.6% in 2022 and 4.4% in 2023. Although the output in emerging and developing economies will continue to be 4% behind its pre-pandemic level, all advanced economies will have fully recovered their output by 2023. The most recent Global Economic Prospects report has analytical sections that offer new perspectives on three factors that are preventing developing economies from experiencing a long-lasting rebound. The first, on debt, contrasts earlier coordinated efforts to promote debt relief with the most recent international endeavor to address unsustainable debt in emerging economies, the G20 Common Framework. In light of the fact that COVID-19 increased total global debt to its greatest level in 50 years despite the fact that the landscape of creditors grew more complicated, it is concluded that coordinated debt relief efforts in the future will face more difficult obstacles to come. Robert Kiyosaki once said, "I find so many people struggling, often working harder simply because they cling to old ideas. They want things to be the way they were. They resist change. I know people who are losing their jobs or their houses, and they blame technology or the economy or their boss. Sadly, they fail to realize that they might be the problem. Old ideas are their biggest liability. It is a liability simply because they fail to realize that while the idea or way of doing something was an asset yesterday, yesterday is gone. With COVID-19, everything changes with how the business world works. So it's important to start investing in the right things and adapt to thrive in these pandemic times we live in."